In the past week or so, 7 Canadians have been murdered by Muslim terrorists. 1 in Jakarta, Indonesia, 6 in Africa. The 6 in Africa were Quebecers from a church-affiliated charity doing a humanitarian aid mission. They were Christians murdered by explicitly Muslim terrorists. So Trudeau went to a mosque in Peterborough where he took selfies, and he dismissed the mass murder of Canadians as he might talk about a bad traffic accident. No big deal, really. And then he hopped on a plane to fly to Davos, Switzerland, where he told the world that Canada is bailing out of the war against the Islamic State. That's our Prime Minister. He's a disgrace. Now, that's not just my view. Here's what's so incredible. Trudeau made a perfunctory phone call to one of the grieving family members of one of the murder victims. Trudeau called Eve Richard, the grieving widower of this beautiful young Christian aid worker, Maude Carrier. Look at her, helping African children. What a smile. She was murdered by Muslim terrorists. But when Trudeau called Richard, Richard said it was so much political blather, so much Trudeau BS, that he literally hung up on the Prime Minister. Can you imagine that? Imagine how outrageous Trudeau's comments must have been to have disgusted a man so much to literally hang up on a sitting Prime Minister. Richard said Trudeau had a bunch of liberal campaign phrases, like how his dead wife was doing things in the name of Canadian political reasons, blah, 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 until Richard just couldn't stand it anymore and told him to shut up, really. Richard said he told Trudeau that his wife did not go to Africa to help people as some sort of Canadian emissary. She did it because she was a good person, and she wanted to do it for her own reasons and to help people. Her motivation, obviously, was as a Christian humanitarian. She was with the church. Trudeau was literally trying to appropriate her life and death and turn her into some sort of Liberal Party symbol, a mascot for Trudeau's own worldview. The widower himself just couldn't stomach it and hung up on him. Carrier's mother was equally outraged by Trudeau. I mean, literally, as these Canadians were murdered by the Islamic State, Trudeau was declaring peace with the Islamic State, or surrender, I guess. But, you know, he cares so deeply. Well, hey, it could have been worse, right? Trudeau could have dispatched his tone-deaf wife to sing a song to the grieving families. I mean, she sang a homemade song that she had written about her own baby. She sang that song at an official Martin Luther King memorial. She's a privileged white millionaire from Montreal singing about her baby, and she thought that was the right way to commemorate an assassinated black civil rights hero. Sounds like just the right touch for these grieving family members in Quebec, don't you think? Maybe Trudeau and Sophie could go to the family members and maybe bring the Vogue magazine cameras along, you know, to capture the moment. What a disgrace he is. One last point, just a last point here about the media. Last fall, Stephen Harper offered to match donations to the Terry Fox Foundation and Institute up to $35 million. The foundations had written letters to the government to request it, and the government agreed and announced it in a flourish. But some of the Terry Fox family members didn't like this, thought it was too partisan, and so they made a big fuss. Now, Terry Fox has been dead since 1981. That's 35 years now. Harper was giving the foundation $35 million, but for whatever reason, some family members didn't like it, and it became national news. Again and again, newspapers, TV, online. It was a bizarre story, objecting to money. But so what? It was an attempt to demonize Harper, and they ran with it. Hey, could you do me a favor? Watch CBC and CTV and Global News tonight. Check out the Toronto Star and the Globe and Mail. Tell me if they go wall to wall with today's story. A real victim, a widower of a terrorist victim, so furious about a Liberal Prime Minister's insensitivity that he literally hangs up on the Prime Minister. Yeah, no, I'm guessing this won't make top of the news the way that Harper's gift to the Fox Foundation did. And that's the second disgrace here, isn't it? For TheRebel.media, I'm Ezra Levant.